So to say 400% better. So obviously she will tell much more resources when the optimal state is called 0. And so 10s just sounded too optimistic for her. But when we agree that things are difficult by saying 0 is the optimum, then she is permitted to notice all the positive differences. So therefore it's often useful to know about these changing of the scales. Because obviously it's not a question of objective scales, it's a question of the scale as a system of differences, making us aware of useful differences. So therefore we never use 100, we only use 10. Why? Because saying from 0 to 100 is already citing percentage. And this makes a scale in our culture more objective. And this makes it difficult to use it as a tool for subjective differences. And therefore using the 0 to 100 scale already is a sort of little thought. It's not skillful in this context. Of course there are other contexts where it's perfectly all right. So therefore 0 to 10 or 1 to 10 is what most people in solution-focused work would be using.
Then the client goes in, the client herself would go into the steps on the place of the focus.
Just demonstrate it if I were the client.
Yes, yes, you are the client. She was standing like this. Okay, like that. And here we had the learning. Here and here would be now standing an object. Yes, and I would tell yes, and now please look to the learning. Yeah, and maybe here is something between you and the learning, and this is here represented in my hand. And when this, what was a long time between you and the learning, and is going to the side, he's now following this.
Now there are three possible reactions. I could follow that.
Yes.
I could stay with this, and usually my pupils would become bigger.
If he would do that, then I let fall it light down.
Or it could be a movement like that, making a difference between two possible. So you would see it usually not in the head, but in the movement of the eyes.
And when he is more looking to that, then I would say here is the learning, and now we are looking to this what is between. And then I working different. And then I would work with this. And then afterwards I would ask, and now, when you're looking now to the learning, what's different?
And usually now the breath would go more through and the pupils would get bigger and other signs of resource physiology would appear.
So in each single session you have the client as representative. Yeah? And you have your two hands, and with three representatives you can work. You do this by that you say to this client, and when after this session you go to your work, maybe or at home, you know maybe something about the client. You can also say you go to work or at home. If you don't know, for instance, if the client will go afterwards to work or to home, then you say it's in the this or that form. If you know where he goes, you can say if after the session you go at home. You have always to put the question so that the client can give a yes. And for instance, if you would say, and if after this session you go to work and the client goes at home, he will feel a no. And therefore you have to put it in, you go to work or at home. Besides, you know where he will go. And this is with all the details of this embedding, that you have to put them in a way that the client can say yes. So if you don't know, you make several proposals, and then the client can look for what's fitting for him. But you have to make then several proposals. So for instance, you can say after the session, when you are going to work or you are going to home, and it's getting later, and sometimes you will leave the work and go home, and maybe you have a family, maybe you see your family and will eat with your family, but may also be you live alone, and maybe you eat something or you go out, maybe you relax, maybe also you make something for the next day for your work, you prepare something. You will spend your evening as you wanted you spend it.